punch a hole into the other dimension, right? Where the CERN scientists said themselves, something may come through. Their corporate logo is 666 with a hyperdimensional portal. Meanwhile, we're putting up ionospheric heaters such as iSCAT, HARP, and Sura all around the globe, right? And these are massive radio frequency transmission devices that are capable of manipulating the weather, causing earthquakes, changing migration patterns, and messing with your head.
And generally fucking up our poor cetaceans.
But on top of that, they can also transmit Dorito commercials to Ursa Major, as they did with the iSCAT in Norway. It was a big promotion that they had. And they sent a Doritos commercial to Ursa Major. So now if you couple this, all this technology, NASA is putting up a new deep wave space guide antenna in Australia, next to where they already have the Boeing VLF array, which caused a big droid eye to open up in the satellite relays, satellite imagery. You can see all this in my Space War news. We now have the technology to take somebody's brain and transmit it to another star, to another system. They simulcast the day the Earth stood still. When it was out in theaters, they were simulcasting it to Alpha Centauri. Now that movie says, Earthlings are so screwed up, we'll never fix ourselves, just kill us. You know, unless you know Klaatu, Varata, and Niktu, right? But they want to simulcast this movie to the closest known inhabited civilization in our galaxy, while showing it to us on the films. And man, once you get into Hollywood, it just gets scary.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, Hollywood. You're looking at a situation where anybody that I've dealt with that's dealt with Hollywood, Jordan Maxwell, and there's you know, a ballet dancer who's a good friend of a director that I know, who's, you know, corroborating all of this. It's just it's completely up to its eyeballs in Satanism, and if you're not involved in one of these secret groups, that you're just not going anywhere.
Well, there's no doubts. This website's so messed up. I wanted to show you this because this ties right into that ancient technology of the future. 1996, they came out with SG-1, the idea of transmitting souls through a stargate, and they become, you know, and end up on another star system. 1996, this came out, and when you see in the credits, it says, "We greatly acknowledge the cooperation of the United States Air Force, Department of Defense, and United States Space Command, or the U.S. Space Force, in the creation of SG-1, right? Now, there's so much reality in SG-1, right? A lot of things and a lot of fluff to keep you not believing in anything. But one thing you'll notice is that the SG-1 characters are identical to the Obama administration. They're identical. Look, I mean, you can see that each character was portrayed before they came into our attention. And Akhenaten, or Obama, becomes then the character Apophis. Now, what are the odds that the moment Obama comes into office, they declare that he has to save the world from Apophis, an incoming asteroid that's about to destroy planet Earth in 2029 or 2036, or not at all? They're not sure. But they're using this asteroid to foment the weaponization of space.
Well, I'm sure you've seen the footage of the huge flippin', I don't know whether there's an asteroid or a comet, that got shoved off our path by a bit of sun. The sun had I don't know what the exact specific term for it was, but it had a sort of a solar flare, and it just hits this this giant asteroid and or comet and shoves it right out of our orbital path. So, you know, I mean, that's the exact thing.
Yeah, you can see that, and this is straight from the SOHO satellite.
Yeah.
And this was actually back in '99, when I was watching very closely in Sun Cycle 23. Now we're up to 24, and we're seeing all kinds of strange stuff. Right now, at this moment, a giant ring is forming around the sun, a coronal mass ejection that we've never seen. It's formed an entire ring around the sun, and if this thing goes off, we're done. I mean, it's over.
Yeah, I know that this is one of the things that, you know, a number of people have been talking about, and, you know, this is the reason for supposedly the reason for some of the high atmosphere chemtrailing, not so much the low atmosphere stuff. But
Well, that brings you to the Norway spiral.
yeah, which is an amazing in and of itself. There's sort of a HARP facility there.
Yeah, I'm the one person that can explain to you what occurred. Why, I don't know.
Well, I would like to know. Yeah, I would very much like to know.
Right here is, and we'll get you images of this. This is the VLF array in Australia. And as I was starting to talk about it being used in Australia and the fact that they can transmit to other solar systems, this big droid eye showed up in the satellite relay. And it happens to correlate exactly to the location of the VLF array in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we've had some anomalous earthquakes and things of that nature while that was going on. One of them actually occurred right when the BP oil explosion happened. The Norway spiral, and you can see this in my film Obama Alien Invasion, which is one of my YouTubes. I had an insider bit of source on this whole thing. I had received word from Rosalind Peterson at California Skywatch, who is a major opponent to chemtrailing. You might have probably seen her posters all around that say, "Up in the sky, look up in the sky," and they show all the different variations of chemtrails. Well, she gets reports and keeps up to date, and she passed on to me that they were going to launch the Cloud of Care from Wallops Flight Facility, which is also known as Mars. And this is the launch facility in Virginia. And so I find out about the CARE. This is the Charged Aerosol Release Experiment. And I watch it launch. Well, lo and behold, the news says, wow, something opened in the sky. It looked like a big blue beam came out of a hole in the sky and then sucked itself back up. And we think it's aliens. And that's what the news said. Meanwhile, I'm covering the launch live on my radio show, saying, you know, here goes the Charged Aerosol Release Experiment. You can watch it live on NASA TV. The news is saying, oh, we have no idea what happened. And I cover the whole thing. It's an aluminum oxide cloud that was deployed at 173 miles up into the atmosphere, which is just the exact height of the International Space Station, which is about 183 miles up. And they launched this aluminum oxide cloud up in the ionosphere, announced it to the public, but no one was paying attention, and said they were testing noctilucent clouds. Well, after this happens and all the alien stuff the news put out about it, then next thing you know, Barack Obama's going to get his Nobel Peace Prize. And just in the morning before his Nobel arrival, this opens up in the sky. And it's clearly a rocket that has been launched and is spiraling what I say a controlled out of control. It's spewing aluminum oxide out of the side of the fuselage to make the rocket spiral, and then that spiral is then pulsed by the iSCAT or the Solvabard antenna array from the ground. And so what you see with the blue spiral, that is aluminum oxide, which is the base element of sapphire. And that's why it's blue. And that's why the people who described the Cloud of Care also saw a blue spiral coming out of it, but it wasn't in the video. So what we have is some new technology that I think might even be based on like the Bell experiments of the Nazis of having switching rotations of spiraling mercury to cause spatial dimension gaps in time. And I think that they're trying to do it now out in the open using these pulsed antenna arrays that are, you know, tuned to whatever frequency along with the aluminum oxide. And what it's for, I don't know. You know, I don't know. But here, it's funny, when this occurred, people were going, oh, it was just a rocket. And so then you're going, okay, so you're saying the Russians just launched an ICBM over the president on his way to get a Nobel Peace Prize? Is that what we're saying is happening here? Which one's worse, right? Are the Russians are launching an ICBM, a nuclear-capable rocket, over the president, or a Norway spiral is opening? A lot of people try to take that to ET connections. I disagree wholeheartedly with any extraterrestrial connection, because you can watch the Cloud of Care, and not only that, you can watch the same thing being formed in China, another one the next day in Russia, same thing. one over America, one over California. I've got them all listed here, and you can just follow them along. That these are new experiments going on. Like here's the one in Russia that happened right afterwards, and
Not to mention that around that same time you had the giant pyramid over Moscow.
it was the same day. Yeah, that evening, the giant pyramid floating over Moscow. Yeah, which is also in the article. That was a very strange day for sure. I mean, the absurdity of the president getting a Nobel Peace Prize for extraordinary efforts was absurd enough, but to have giant portals opening in the sky and but yeah, aluminum oxide cloud, charged aerosol release experiment are your clues to that. So we're looking at this new warfare coming down the pike, and so what they had done is start to organize the American people through the bring down of the man, Bill Clinton, the railroading of the evil emperor, the W, the excrement, right? And so when I had made that prediction, I said, okay, they're going to force the next president. W is going to be the last American president, I would say. And I said they're going to force W in, and he'll be the last American president. When they forced the W in, I knew that was the year, and I said, okay, this is going to be the year they pull off that false flag event. And so I told everyone around here, hey, there's going to be a major terrorist attack on 9/11. Don't freak out. It's for your own reaction. They want you to react. And I can pull you out Kenneth Grant's book about Aleister Crowley right there that we got from Treadwell's in London, right above it. Kenneth Grant, a follower of Aleister Crowley. And I can show you Aleister Crowley's tarot cards. I can bring out Isaac Bonowitz, the now past archdruid, and they will all, and even Rex Church, they will all tell you that 9/11 combined is the satanic Luciferic number. It is the number of the sorcerer or sorcery. That 9 to 11 skips 10, which is God. So you're a self-serving magician instead of a magi. You're a sorcerer. And so that's what the meaning of 9/11 was. And I started to decipher this when I realized that Aleister Crowley had incorporated 9/11 into his tarot cards using the letter Teth, which is 9, which is snake. We're back to the serpent in 9/11 again. So I had made this prediction and told everyone, hey, there's going to be a major terrorist attack on 9/11. Don't freak out. This is for your reaction, because that's what they want. They want you to be mad, angry. They're going to use this 9/11 truth movement against you in the end in the American Nuremberg trials, which are yet to come over this coming space war. I had a line of people at my door going, how the heck did you know? How did you know? And what was really bizarre is that at least 3 people in that line already had their 20s folded as the Twin Towers burning. You seen that?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, now, I understand how I made my, my guess, my hypothesis. But how did you know about this folded 20? That's ridiculous. And they said, oh, it's all over the internet. And once again, that was only AOL, the eye in the pyramid, right? That you could get that information from. And so they were self-promoting their own ritual to us already. They need us to know that they did it. They need us to know that they're going to do it. So they put it in the Lone Gunman before it happened, right?
Yeah.
Chris Carter's production company's 1013, which is the next prediction I made. After 9/11, I had not been able to prove myself, right? Because that was just me here in town telling people, hey, there's going to be a major terrorist attack. So I wanted to prove my hypothesis on a more grand scale. So I came up with my next hypothesis, and that was the banking crash of 1013. And so I started doing 1013 reports. I have now five annual 1013 reports, all of them very intriguing. One with Rex Diabolus Church in Portland was another I managed to get on Alex Jones. And Alex, he told me, well, don't go talking about yourself being the North American Intergalactic Rainbow Ambassador to the Mayans, and don't talk about aliens and UFOs, and don't make any rigid, strict predictions or dates or anything like that. And so you could go watch it. I did each of those things. I'm like, well, yeah, Alex, I'm the North American Intergalactic Rainbow Ambassador to the Mayans, because that's what they asked me to be. They asked me to come and tell the world that the world's going to crumble, and they need help to get into their subterranean chambers. But I wanted to make that prediction. I wanted to make one where I did it live, because I didn't do it with 9/11. So I went on Alex Jones and I said, well, look, the next 9/11 is going to be 1013. And I had a number of reasons of why, because I watched symbolic gestures. And 1013, of course, is the date of the papal bull that brought down the Knights Templar. It was Friday the 13th,